Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Kristine Strouse, and this is The Real Deal with Naperville Warner, where we cover all things real estate.
For buyers, sellers, renters, investors, and fellow agents. So before we get into our episode for today and introduce our guests, let's take a quick look at the market activity over the past weekend. On the list side, we saw another increase, not too big of an increase, but another increase over the previous weekend. It's a trend that's been going on for the last couple weeks. We are at the highest level of listings in our office since mid-December. Right. So that's a good thing. Hopefully it stays going in that direction.
Absolutely. We'd love to see that listing number keep rising. And no surprise here, but the buyers were out again this last weekend. Slightly down from the weekend before, but it is impressive how many buyers are out there. Yeah, I mean, you guys are out in full force. So great job on staying out there and staying on top of the inventory. So lots of buyers out there for these listings that we would love to see coming on the market. Today we are excited to welcome Julia Corkey and Vickie Schoenfeld, who run one of the most successful teams out of our own Naperville office, Team Elite. Julia and Vickie are industry vets in their own rights and have really embraced the team approach while expanding their group to include 4 other agents, correct?
There's 4 total.
There's 4 total. So they have a team of 4 agents here, and we're really looking forward to finding out more about their team on today's episode. So thank you, Julia.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
So tell us how the team got started. How did Team Elite come to be? How did you two meet each other? And how did you decide to make a team?
Well, I'll start off. I first met Julia in 2004. We actually started on the same day. We were working with a different brokerage at the time, and we met each other, and we decided about a year later that it would be time to team up. The first year in real estate, I was Rookie of the Year, and I was super busy. At the time, I had a daughter who was 2 and a husband that traveled. So for me, it was just too much.
Yep.
And for me, I was not Rookie of the Year. I had a tough first year. Toward the end, my business started booming. I was busy. We would realtor tour together, and we were trying to figure out what could we do together to help each other out. And we started out with just a little marketing.
Sure.
And then we were like, okay, as we started to get more business, we're like, we got to just run with this, and we just went full-blown team.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's been now over 16 years
Holy
that we have been together.
Oh,
Yes.
that is amazing. That is great to see that it has had such a long run success, and you guys have been able to make it work. So awesome job, ladies.
That's longer than most relationships. It's just
That's
in
longer
general.
than my marriage. I have been married and divorced during our team.
There you go. There you go. So you guys made it. You got
We
it.
did.
Good. Well, so kind of shifting gears a little bit off of that then. So what advice would you give to an agent who's looking to either form their own team or partner together with someone to form a team? You know, when's the right time to start? Any advice that you could give them?
Well, definitely the time to start, is when you're super busy, right? And so that's the one reason why we decided to team up to begin with, is because you just get to a point where you are so busy that you need help. And then the second thing, it could be, if you're a newer agent and you're just not making it, right? And then
Sure.
you would want to team up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that help for sure is important. We wanted to have lives, and you realize real quick that real estate doesn't necessarily offer that unless you have someone to bounce off of all the time.
Absolutely. And then when you're forming a team, what advice would you give to an agent? You really have to sort of know who you're teaming up with. You have to know their personality, right? Do they have a type A personality? Are they competitive and serious? And I fall under the A personality type.
And I'm B, and that's why it works out so well, because I'm much more I'm very laid back in the way things work.
Sure,
and when we need to do things, I'll be more apt to just go with the flow.
For sure.
And we balance each other in what our talents are too. She's very good with budgeting and that kind of thing, and I'm more of the marketing, and it ends up just working out really perfectly.
Yeah, and you also have to know what you want out of a team when you're trying to form a team. What is it that
Why
you
are
want
you doing?
out of
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Absolutely. And then do you have the same goals? Because that's really important when you're forming a team too. What are your goals? Do you plan to work full time? Do you plan to work part time? Do you plan to just maybe vacation all year round?
Right,
Just don't know what's going to
right.
happen. And then how are you going to split things? Okay, for example, like the duties and the tasks. Because people don't realize that when you form a team, it's not just you now, you're working with someone else.
Right.
What about the money? how are you going to split it? Are you going to be a 50-50 split? Is it going to be whoever brought the lead in gets, more money? So you have to really think about that.
A lot goes into that.
A lot.
Yeah.
Leads as well, and also marketing, right? How are you going to do that? Are you going to split the marketing? What are you going to do?
Right.
So for Julie and I, early on, we decided it would be best just to do everything 50-50.
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
tried it just a little bit in the beginning, and then as soon as one of us started getting the business, we got super confused. You can't keep track of where it's coming from, and then when you sell that and you get a lead from that person, where a referral, and how do you start deciding how it works?
Yeah.
It's just easier just to say we're doing it all 50-50.
There you go. Well, good. It sounds like you found a really good path that works for you guys. That's great. Good.
Yeah. So what do you think are some pros and cons of joining a team or running a team?
Sure, definitely a pro would be accountability, right? So we have someone to bounce ideas off of each other. You agree with that, Julia?
Say a negative would also be accountability.
For sure. And the same thing too is having a life, right? So when we partnered up, I was able then to be able to go on vacation and know that I had someone watching my business.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you are self-employed or independent contractors, no one really cares about your business, right? Unless you have a vested interest in it.
Yep.
So that was really one of the wonderful things about it. And the same thing too, we have experienced through 16 years death in the family,
Sure.
right? Babies, we each had families, within 16 years,
Right.
and marriages. So you want to be able to have time, and when you are a team, you have that.
Definitely.
And you can
Good.
see she's the chattier one.
Hey, it's all about the balance.
VA.
So if you're speaking to prospective agents to join your team, what are some pros you can give to an agent looking to join a team rather than from your perspective of kind of running the team?
Yeah, there's definitely some pros, to having a team. Again, accountability. So even with just the two of us, but when you have a team, you have that accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Experience. So a person trying to join a team, a con is for sure the experience that working with agents.
Right.
Marketing too, we know what works, what doesn't work. We've
Yeah.
been through
They
it.
can call us and bounce off ideas all the time,
Yeah.
and someone to go with them on appointments.
Right.
If they're newer agents or need help,
Sure.
and then what works for us, the being able to travel or do something and have
Right.
someone care
Right.
about you
Exactly.
when you're
Yeah.
not there.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
important. So we're able to
Oh,
offer
that actually sounds kind of nice.
I know. Yeah.
Well, there's always room on team lead.
Love it. Well,
Love
good.
it.
So, what do you feel makes your team so successful? I mean, clearly you guys have the track record and the experience to say, hey, we've made it 16 years, 16 now going on plus years. So what do you feel makes you the most successful?
Definitely communication, for sure.
Yeah.
We have to be able to communicate with each other. She's my work wife.
There you go. I love it. Yeah.
I always call her my work wife.
Yeah, and
My
even-
phone rings, it says boss. We
There you go.
have a sense of humor about how.
Oh, for sure. And then having the same common goals
Sure.
is important, right? And for us, that we just have to make sure that we want the same things,
Sure.
But I will tell you a con too, we had talked about this before, is sometimes when you are trying to form a team, right? One of the cons can be remorse. Right, it's remorse and oh my gosh, I'm working more hours than you're working. I'm bringing in more leads than you're bringing in,
Got it.
right? But in 16 years, we know that someone's always going to hold someone, carry someone, but throughout the years, it evens out.
Yeah,
Sure.
when we look back, even though I'll feel so busy for 3 months and wonder what she's doing, or vice versa, it seems to just rotate itself automatically, and then in the end, when we look at our numbers, we're like, wow, that really balanced out somehow, but it just worked, and we don't even.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have to fight over that time when we are busy, because somehow it ends up coming out fine in the end.
Absolutely. And then another thing too that makes our team so successful is that opposites truly attract, right? So as you know, Julie and we're complete opposite people, but we work so well together, and we're truly friends.
Right.
I was going to ask, yes, you guys seem to be more than just work.
Oh, when our kids were little, we
Yeah.
were always together, doing things together,
Right.
birthday parties, family. My mother babysat for her children growing
Oh
up.
So I can work.
So she could work, yeah. So we were, we were like one big family forever. Our kids are older now, and they got their own friends and their own
Sure.
activities, so we don't get to see each other as much
Yeah.
besides work.
Right.
But yeah, we still are good.
We're still still look up to her.
That's awesome. Well, good. And,
Yes.
kind of branching off of that too, I know we've talked about advice for teams and everything. So if you are talking to maybe any of the teams out there that feel like they're struggling to try to get back on that track, do you have any advice that you could share with them to maybe, kind of push them in a successful route?
Well, for an agent, real estate has its ups and downs, right? It's a roller coaster for sure.
Sure.
You have to just stay positive. If you feel that maybe you need that accountability, then a team is definitely for you. You should look into it, but definitely just don't jump into a team just to jump into a team. You really have to make sure that you gel together, right?
Sure.
Opposites do attract.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to know what you want on a team from,
Yeah.
just from talking to other people. Teams run so differently
Right, sure.
on how they structure things with their agents and what they're willing to give them and what they're,
Right.
so you have to make sure that you have everything you're looking for.
Correct. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to someone who wants to join a team, they think, okay, well, I'm going to join a team because I'm going to get all the leads handed to me.
Right.
That is not necessarily the case, right? Each team is different in how they structure, but most of the time they're not going to hand you a whole bunch of leads over.
Sure,
I mean, you have to put in the work if you want to be successful.
Yep.
Very true. Very true. Great advice.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and sharing your experience. We loved having you on. Obviously, your team is amazing. That's why we wanted to have you on.
Right.
And I think this will be really helpful for those that are looking to either start their own team or join a team,
Absolutely.
especially people in our office. We have a huge office. We have a lot of new agents, so
Yeah.
maybe you will be getting some calls.
Yes.
If you're open to more agents.
We are.
Maybe I might be one of the
If
agents.
they're the right
calling you.
fit.
Yeah, we're always open to agents, right? But it has to be the right fit,
Mhm.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. Good.
Awesome. Well, where can our listeners find you? Social media, email, however you want them to find you.
Yeah, our website is homesbyteamelite.com. We are on all social medias, Team Elite Realtors. On Instagram, we're Realtors Team Elite. She had to write it backwards. But you can find Team Elite almost anywhere if you Google either of our names or Team Elite. Baird and Warner will shoot up all over the place.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Good. Well, thank you guys so
Thank
much
you
for
guys so
joining
much for
us.
being
We
here.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Sure.
And now a word from John Lewis with Key Mortgage for our weekly Mortgage Minute.
Hi, I'm John Lewis with Key Mortgage with the Mortgage Minute. Interest rates have taken a little bit of a breather, which is a very positive sign for us. They had been on a bit of an increase, but in the last 2 or 3 weeks they've held pretty steady. We do 30-year money is still in the very low 3% range, which is historically fantastic, and 15-year fixed money is in the mid-2s. So both of those products are still extraordinarily well priced. It appears that the Fed is going to continue to be buying bonds. They're going to keep interest rates in a manageable level. So for those of you that are interested in getting pre-approved and buying a property, I'd like to assure you that with these fantastic interest rates, even though we're in a seller's market and properties are being bid up, the fantastic interest rates and your lower monthly payment will more than offset a few extra thousand that you might have to pay for your first home or your next upgrade into a home. I am here to pre-approve you, happy to do that. If you've already been pre-approved, I will still be able, I'd like to present a second pair of eyes with our second look program. You will then have 2 pre-approvals. Mine will be a very solid pre-approval for you, and in your seller's eyes, you will be very bona fide and a very credible borrower. And having a second set of eyes, you might be saving quite a bit of money in using Key Mortgage for lower interest rate, lower fees, and you will have my expertise. So good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks again to Julia and Vickie for their great input on what makes a successful team. I think that was wonderful information for the teams out there and maybe people looking to join a team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of great information from multiple perspectives there. A lot of different ways you can do it.
Definitely.
And they did it great. They're a great team, so very happy to have them on.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for joining us. I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Kristine Strouse. Catch us next time to hear about
The Real Deal.